Welcome to my channel. This is Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph College, Devgiri, Kozhikode. This is the third lecture in the series of lectures on Accidental Death of an Anarchist by Dario Fo. In the first lecture, we looked at the biographical details of Dario Fo. In the second lecture, we saw the very historic background of the play Accidental Death of an Anarchist. That was, of course, an introduction to the play, and this is the third lecture. In this lecture, we are looking at the characters of the play Accidental Death of an Anarchist. As you see in the slide, there are 6 characters in the play. They are Bertozzo, the Maniac, Constables, Inspector, Superintendent, and the journalist. Now, I'll give you introduction to each of the characters. Bertozzo is a police officer in the play, and the character of Bertozzo is an amalgam of several real-life police officers in Italy at the time of the incident of the play, that is 1969. And throughout the play, Bertozzo is the butt of jokes and recipient of mocking laughter and physical abuse by the other police officers. And we understand that Dario Fo is ridiculing the Italian police in the character of Bertozzo, and the character of Bertozzo shows the inefficiency of the police of Italy during the 1960s and 70s. And in real life, Bertozzo could be Luigi Calabresi or Antonio Allegri. These two are real life police officers who lived during the time of the play. And remember the fact that the character of Bertozzo is an amalgam of several real life police officers. And the second character is the Maniac. And the Maniac is the pivotal or most important character in the play. And the role of the Maniac was played by Dario Fo himself in the original staging. Fo is satirizing the police through the character of the Maniac. The Maniac reveals the inconsistencies in the stories of the police, and the Maniac demonstrates the falsity of the police interrogation. The Maniac is presenting counter information to the press, and the Maniac has been diagnosed with an acting mania. He is charged 12 times of impersonation, and the Maniac uses his talents to investigate what really happened the night of the anarchist's death, adopting the persona of a judge, reopening the inquiry. So in the play, we see the Maniac impersonating 4 characters. In the beginning, he is just adopting the persona of a judge, reopening the case of the death of the anarchist. Then he is enacting as the forensic expert. Then he enacts as a bishop, and at last, at the end of the play, after the bomb explosion, he appears on stage as the real judge to reopen the case of the accidental death of the anarchist. Okay, now we will look at the third character. It is in fact a number of characters. It is constables, and the constables are, of course, the subordinate police officers in the headquarters of the police headquarters in Milan in Italy, and they are foolish bystanders reminiscent of the incompetent policemen of the very detective stories. And though there were 4 constables in the office at the time of Pinelli's death, there is no direct link to any of the real life constables to the characters in the play. So keep in mind the fact that the constables in the play are not representations of the real life police constables. Now we have the fourth character, the inspector, and the inspector, or rather the character of the inspector, is based closely on Commissario Luigi Calabresi, who was commonly believed to have been directly involved with the death of the anarchist Giuseppe Pinelli. So he was commissioner of the police headquarters in Milan, and the inspector is a real life representation of Luigi Calabresi, the commissioner of police headquarters. And the inspector in the play is given a nickname, and the nickname given to the police officer is Window Straddler. And the name Window Straddler is given to him due to his supposed penchant for having suspects sit on the window during the interrogation, and he used to taunt them to jump from the window. So because of that reason, the inspector has been nicknamed the Window Straddler, or rather is known as Officer Window Straddler. And now we have the fifth character. Fifth character is Superintendent. Superintendent is the superintendent of the police headquarters, and this character is based on a real life police officer. The name of the real life police officer is Marcello Gaida. Marcello Gaida was the head of the police headquarters in Milan, and he was in fact not present at the time of the death of Giuseppe Pinelli, but he took part in the covering up of the real incident. He helped the other police officers to cover up the real, or rather the reality behind the death of Giuseppe Pinelli, the anarchist. And he also involved in the arrest of the second anarchist, that is a friend of Giuseppe Pinelli. So Giuseppe Pinelli's friend Pietro Valpreda was arrested, and the superintendent Marcello Gaida had an involvement in the arrest of the second anarchist, Pietro Valpreda. And now we come to the journalist. So journalist is, we have to understand the fact that Dario Fo, along with the journalist, unravels the secrecy behind the death of the anarchist, and the journalist in the drama is inspired by a real life journalist, and the name of the real life journalist is Camilla Sedena. So the journalist Camilla Sedena investigated the case of Pinelli's death, and she uncovered police corruption and just assisted Dario Fo in his search for the play. So that's very important for us. So now that we understand the characters, or we have an idea of all the six characters, we can of course begin the discussion of the play. So in next lecture, I'll be giving you a summary of the two acts. There are in fact three acts: Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. So in the place of Dario Fo, maybe in this play again the third act is missing, but the third act is a discussion between the actors and the spectators. So we will be looking at the text. We'll be looking at Act 1 and Act 2. I'll be just reading out some of the dialogue, some of the essential dialogues from the text as well. So thank you so much for listening.